Oh my goodness, what are they doing now? They're always trying to push this on people. Like, how many people actually are feeling this? That's my question. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tirade TV. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All comments are welcome as long as it's tasteful and respectful. You know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. So, first of all, there's a little bit of news going on the past couple of days. Some of it happened last night. Some of it happened, I don't know, maybe a little bit today. But three things that kind of stood out to me that I wanted to talk to you all about, my people, is, well, this agenda, man. You know, I love everyone as a human being. I believe that's the way God wants us to love everyone as a human being. But just because you love everyone as a human being does not mean you're going to stand for or approve of what they're doing. And I think that's where they try to trick us or confuse us a little bit with the LGBT. Um, I don't know if it's LGBT or LGBT plus or LGBTQ or LGBT, whatever. I'm not for sure, but they try to confuse you with that because if they say, if you say that you don't necessarily approve of it, that means that you don't love them as a human being, as a person. That's not true. That is not true. You can, like, I know people, haven't seen them in a long time, but I know people who are like crackheads. Doesn't mean I don't love them as a person. Do I approve of them being a crackhead? No, I don't. I know people who are just flat out alcoholics. Love them as people, but do I approve of their alcoholism? No, I don't. I've known people to um, commit adultery in their marriage or commit fornication. I think we've probably all done the fornication part, to be completely honest with you, open and transparent. But you love the person, but you don't love the act that the person is committing or partaking in, right? And I thought about that when I saw this story here. This airline, and this is look like it's off of truthtent.com, and this is I guess a website or a publication I'm not too familiar with. I just saw this on here last night, but it goes on to say that male pilots can wear skirts now on Virgin Atlantic flights. Now, what I'm about to say doesn't mean that I hate anyone. It just means that I don't approve of. When I first saw this, my first thought that came to mind was, first of all, Lord help us, right? And my second thought was, how many people would take their kids on these flights, on these airlines, with this particular airline, right? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't want my kid to be confused about anything. So I definitely wouldn't. But let's go and get into the article and see what it says here. It says Virgin Atlantic, which boasts that it champions those, quote, who see the world differently, unquote, announced Wednesday that male pilots and crew can wear women's clothing if they prefer. Heretofore, male staff on the planes wore burgundy trousers and blazers, and the women wore red jackets and skirts, but now both sexes will have the option of wearing the other sex's clothes. First of all, what's the scripture in the Bible that talks about a double-minded man is unstable in his ways? This is very double-minded here. When I see, you know, this LGBT movement, whatever, it makes me think about that verse. A double-minded man, a double-minded person is unstable in their ways. You're unstable if you're thinking both ways, because you are a man, but you're trying to act as a woman, or you're a woman, you're trying to act as a man. In a sense, that's kind of being double-minded, because you're kind of having both thoughts there. You're thinking like a man and you're thinking like a woman. you're trying to be a man, and you're trying to be a woman, which lets me know that you are unstable. And that verse there, that's not my word. That's in the Bible. And that's not the only way you can be double-minded, but I'm just saying that's what that makes me think of. Right? There are many different ways we can act and be double-minded, but that's what just come to mind when I see this. I see a double-mindedness within this company, and I just I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. It goes on to say, quote, "We've changed our uniform code to give our crew, pilot, and ground teams the option to choose which of our iconic uniforms designed by Vivian Westwood best represents them," unquote. Virgin Atlantic declared. Oh, they declared it, huh? Here, just looking at some of the tweets from Virgin Atlantic Twitter page, shows a picture, look like a guy in a skirt, like a uniform skirt, whatever. And the one behind him, I can't honestly, to be completely honest with you, I can't tell if that is a male or a man or woman behind in the glasses. Look like a video. And then there's actually another person too. Niall Gardiner says it's utterly ridiculous. Latest woke madness from the corporate world. Virgin Atlantic lets male pilots and crew wear skirts to express their true identity. And if you go back to a video I did, or a podcast I did maybe a week ago, people are getting this true identity thing confused. Your true identity starts off with who God made you to be, not who you want to be. Every sin that we can possibly commit revolves around selfishness. What do we want? How do we feel? You know what I mean? What's best for us? Like, we didn't birth ourselves. We didn't create ourselves. You know, honestly, we don't even wake ourselves up in the morning, but we know what's best for us. Okay. All right. That makes complete sense. But going on to the article here, it says, quote, "People feel empowered when they are wearing what best represents them. And this gender identity policy allows people to embrace who they are and bring their full selves to work," unquote. Michelle Visage. I don't want to mispronounce the name. Visaga. I'm sorry, Visage, who is heading the publicity campaign for the effort, stated, "Visage is a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars." Of course, that would make sense. Goes on to say, our quote unquote non-binary crew member echoed, quote, "The updated gender identity policy is so important to me. As a non-binary person, it allows me to be myself at work and have the choice in what uniform I wear," unquote. The company will also use quote unquote pronoun badges. Oh, that should be interesting. So that those working or flying on the planes can show their pronouns if they would like, according to the Daily Mail reported. The badges available from today, which at this point would be yesterday, uh, can be requested at check-in. Wow. I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I look at you and see a man, I'm going to call you a man, sir, mister. If you're a woman, I'm going to call you ma'am, Mrs., miss, madam. You know, it is what it is. You can hate me if you want to, but you cannot control what comes out of my mouth. God gave me lips to speak and a tongue to speak. And what I say has nothing to do with me. I can't control what you do, but I can control what I say. That's how I feel about that. Goes on to say, quote, "At Virgin Atlantic, we believe that everyone can take on the world, no matter who they are," unquote. Juha Jarvinen, Virgin Atlantic's chief commercial officer, stated, quote, "That's why it's so important that we enable people to embrace their individuality and be their true selves at work. It is for that reason that we want to allow people to wear the uniform that best suits them and how they identify and ensure our customers are addressed by their preferred pronouns, unquote. In 2019, Virgin Atlantic boasted that they would fly the world's first known flight fully staffed by LGBT plus staff, flying from London's Heathrow Airport to New York. So let me get this straight. It is best what did they say here? I'm quoting the is it Javinin, Virgin Atlantic's chief commercial officer. It says that he said that's why he or she, I'm not for sure if it's a male or female, but that's why it's so important that we enable our people to embrace their individuality and be their true selves at work. It is for that reason that we want to allow people to wear the uniform that best suits them and how they identify and ensure our customers are addressed by their preferred pronouns, unquote. Okay. I wonder if they'll take the same sentiment if I walked in and I had a cross, or on my uniform if I wanted to put Jesus saves, or my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or put a biblical verse there. I wonder if they would feel the same way, because that biblical verse or that cross, that may be part of my individuality, which it is. That may be allow me to be my true self at work. So would they allow me to do that? If I wanted to wear the Christian flag or something on my uniform, or if someone wanted to do it, would that be okay? Because they're concerned about the LGBT plus being able to be their true selves at work. So once again, if you're not part of the LGBT plus, will they still allow you to be your true self at work and express yourself through a certain pin or label that you're wearing, a name tag that you want to wear? What if someone there works for an airline, is a pastor? Are they gonna allow them to put Pastor so and so or Reverend so and so? But yeah, I wonder if someone was a Trump supporter, or a DeSantis supporter, or if they're a Republican or whatever, would they be able to wear something that that dictates that? Just saying. Once again, since it's important that we enable our people to embrace their individuality and be their true selves at work. That's just my question. Does that work both ways? Or is it just this way that they're doing it? Does it only work this way with the LGBT plus staff? Just my question. Goes on to say, quote, "We take our commitments to diversity and inclusion seriously, but you can rest assured we have a lot of fun along the way," unquote. Mark Anderson, executive vice president at Virgin Atlantic, stated, quote, "Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt star Titus Burgess was to serve as the master of ceremonies for the flight, quote, which promises to feature onboard entertainment, including an onboard DJ, drag queen bingo, a Judy Garland sing-along, and interseat speed dating," unquote. Pink News reported. Yeah, what happened to just getting on our flight, leaving one destination, getting to the other, safe? Just saying. I would like to know how many people would be interested in actually flying that. And if you want to do it, hey, that's your prerogative. That's you. You know, all I'm saying is you don't have to include everybody in that. That's your business. The people at Virgin Atlantic, they can do whatever they want to do. That's their business. Anyways, that doesn't mean we have to approve of it. The thing called cancel culture, someone once said it works both ways. So, anyways, what do you all think about that? I guess I just kind of expressed my opinion on that, how I feel about that. It's they're trying to push on it, all this on people, this LGBT plus movement, but it's a very small percent of the population. It's not like 90% of the population believes in it. It's not like 50% of the population believe that, or classifies themselves or consider themselves to be part of that group. Very small percent. I don't know. They're trying to force things on you. I don't necessarily like that, but hey, that's just me. But let me know what you all think about that in the comments. um If you're listening on podcast, I definitely appreciate it. Continue to listen, continue to subscribe to the podcast, and so you can get updates there and know when a new podcast is available. And by the way, this show is actually sponsored by TiradeTV.com. Want to help support the channel? Go ahead, go over to TiradeTV.com, buy yourself a t-shirt. There's some Christian t-shirts on there. There's some American freedom loving t-shirts on there. We definitely have some hoodies on the way, so definitely check that out. Now, on to the next story here. They always seem to, you ever seen those people that used to be in the limelight, maybe as an actor, not necessarily an actor, because the actor, you can pretty much do that pretty much to the day you pass on for the most part. But politicians, they leave office, but they just don't quite get out of the limelight. They always just seem to be in the in the middle of something, right? Then I saw this here. Allegedly, once again, I saw this article on the same website here. It says Clinton Foundation tax filing amendments to clear up errors totaling nearly $500 million. Yes, $500 million. That is a lot. That's lots of tax filing amendments. That is wow. Let's see what we have here. A damning and alarming accusation backed by solid evidence shows that the Clinton Foundation has posted errors in their tax reporting that involved $483 million, and their auditor responsible for it ignored it all. So it's the auditor's fault. Okay, could very well be. Can't disprove that. Can't say that it wasn't, but we'll see. We know how that goes. Investigative journalist and contributor for the Gateway Pundit, a conservative media outlet, Joe Hoft pursued the Clinton Foundation and targeted their tax history. Hoft has worked in the private sector as a corporate executive, which included years in the auditing sector. His experience proved vital to unlocking the taxation jargon and the gross negligence surrounding their $483 million mistakes. His findings were alarming, shocking, but then again, not too surprising considering the legal courtesies the Clinton family has been shown over the years. Yeah, that's about right. One of his reasons for the glaring miscalculations and how it was undetected from crafty reporting by the Clinton tax team. According to Hoft, he stated, quote, BKD issued slapdash audits and tax returns under penalties of perjury for 13 years. By dismissing AICPA, professional standards, and IRS compliance, the firm created a veneer of legitimacy for the Clinton Foundation. BKD's main fiduciary obligation is to serve and protect public interest, not the Clinton Foundation, unquote. But that failure to pursue and properly prosecute the Clintons and their numerous misdeeds did not stop Hoft from digging deep. So Hoft actually say, look, basically saying something's wrong here and I'm going to continue to investigate. There's nothing wrong with that. Wow. Goes on to say, according to his column on the Gateway Pundit, he stated, quote, I filed a complaint with the Arkansas Board against BKD LLP. The complaint, 59 allegations, relying on public documents, charged BKD with professional misconduct and failure to comply with the following AICPA standards and the IRS code, unquote. He continued, quote, the complaint's primary focus is the Clinton Foundation's 2011 amended IRS Form 990 tax return dated November 16, 2015, and the underlying 2011 audited financial statements. So it's the Clinton Foundation's 2011 amended IRS Form 990 tax return dated November 16, 2015. So if I'm getting this correct, it was the amended, it's from 2011, but it was amended on 2015. That's what I'm mistaken. I'm not a CPA or anything like that. So if there's any CPA or tax consultants out there, let me know exactly what that means. But is there something fishy about that? Let me know. I know there are a lot of people out there who are more well educated on tax and all the taxes and all of that than I am. So, but obviously there's something fishy. That's why there's a story. After Hoffman filed the complaint against BKD and the Clinton Foundation, the firm responded with a snarky and arrogant response. They casually dismissed it and labeled Hoff a conspiracy theorist. Okay. Man, those conspiracy theorists, man, a lot of those conspiracies been coming true lately. A lot of them. But Hoff fired back and used facts and documents to prove his case and his theory. In his column, he wrote, quote, the foundation's board of trustees engaged Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett LLP to review its decadal or its decadent governance. Their report was issued in late December 2011. WikiLeaks released the draft document widely covered in media outlets. He continued, quote, the governance review found severe organizational and internal control weaknesses, jeopardizing the foundation's tax-exempt status. Why did BKD ignore the flashing warning signals? Unquote. After Hillary Clinton's 2016 failed presidential campaign, their foundation had to go back and amend and refile several portions of their tax filings. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not the expert on that, but something doesn't look right. But it just always seems like certain people, um, and you could arguably say both political parties. I just think it's a little more on the Democrat Party side, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there are some people in the Republican Party that do some things also. I'm not so blind as to think that everyone in the Republican Party does things right and everyone in the Democratic Party does things wrong. I think they both do wrong. I just think it's a little heavier uh, of illegitimacy on the Democrat side. Makes sense. But that's my opinion on that. But yeah, it's they always seem to find a way. And here's the thing: people that seem to perform investigations and they start digging a little too deep with the Clintons seem to come up missing. Somehow they end up dying or something like that. So definitely keep this guy in your prayers because they continue to do any more investigations on the Clinton Foundation. It may not be good for him. But I'm assuming these are all allegations, so we'll see about that. Let me know what you all think about that in the comments. And now for a little bit of sad news. One of my favorite artists back when I was in the high school, back in the 90s, I guess I'm aging myself, but one of my favorite artists I used to like to listen to was an artist by the name of Coolio, rapper by the name of Coolio. He actually passed yesterday. And I'm looking at this article here, according to Yahoo News. Paramedics did CPR on Coolio for 45 minutes before he died. His cause of death revealed. Said Coolio died at age 59 on September 28, 2022. It's reasonable to wonder how Coolio died and what his cause of death was, given that the life expectancy of men in the United States is 78. The number is lower for Black individuals at 74. See, I love how they always have to put an element of fear. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what the statistics say. You know, if we serve God the way we're supposed to, and physically eat right, take care of ourselves, and don't put things in our body that don't belong, we should be okay. Now, no one's guaranteed to live any point in time, but what I'm saying is we got to stop letting statistics, control our lives as far as like how long someone's going to live or how healthy someone can be. I don't think that's the way God meant for that to be, you know. So I just love the way they put a little fear in there and start making it, oh, it's, United the life expectancy of men in the United States is 78, and that number is lower for Black individuals at 74. But regardless, this young man, 59 years of age, he passed away. The article goes on to say the rapper most famous for Gangsta's Paradise, which used to be one of my favorites back in the day, released in 1995. So that was like 95 for me was like the second half of my junior year, the first half of my senior year in high school. It says passed away suddenly at the Los Angeles home of his friend and longtime manager, Jerez Posey. Coolio was born artist Leon Ivy Jr. in Pennsylvania, south of Pittsburgh in August 1963. He moved to Compton, California, and fell into the drug scene as a young adult, pulled himself out of it by becoming a volunteer firefighter. I had no idea. If that's true, that's actually pretty good right there. He became a volunteer firefighter. That is commendable. Not many people would do that. So uh, kudos to him on that one. I never knew that. Coolio had also held a job as security at Los Angeles International Airport, okay, before becoming a rapper full time and making a significant mark on the underground scene. Let's see, his first single was released in 1987 titled What You Gonna Do, but signing with Tommy Boy Records in 1994 when his career began to take off. Yeah, I remember that's about when his career began to take off. Like I say, I was in high school. Um, yeah, everyone tried to have they have their hair like Coolio's. He had a really cool hairstyle. Um, It Takes a Thief was Coolio's debut solo record, and the lead single, Fantastic Voyage, peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Top 100 charts. It also received heavy rotation on MTV, probably the golden age of the network. Yeah, I don't know. Does MTV does that still exist? Does that still come on? I haven't watched MTV in probably, I don't know, 12, 14 years. I know at one point they got to a point where they weren't really showing many music videos. Like back during the time when Coolio was at his peak, I mean, like 90% of the time you're on MTV, there's nothing but videos, nothing but video after video after video, this video show, that video show, whatever. Then it got to a point where it's just like they were doing like a lot of reality shows. And that's probably when I stopped watching it. Uh, but I don't know. I never even checked to see if MTV was still in existence, to be honest with you. Because I would say it seemed like once the early 2000s hit, after that, MTV was no longer interesting. I don't know if I matured or just they changed things to the point and just made it suck. But that's just my opinion. It said then he became one of the biggest rap singers of the year. Coolio's most significant hit came with the song "Gangsta's Paradise," which was released in 1995 and featured R&B singer LV for the film Dangerous Minds. Yeah, remember the Michelle Pfeiffer movie where she was like a Marine um, veteran who was actually a school teacher, whatever. Of course, it was like inner city youth, I think it was. Someone always had to come and rescue the inner city youth. It sat at the top of the Billboard 100 for 3 weeks and continues to be one of the most enduring tracks of all time. It was even covered by musical comedian Weird Al Yankovic. I remember him, which caused controversy because Coolio claimed Yankovic never sought permission to make his parody Amish Paradise. The Grammy winner was confident in his legacy. Quote, I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I'll be held in the top 10 hip hop performers in history, unquote. He told Groove On magazine in 2009. Coolio's success also makes his early death that much more surprising. So how did Coolio die and what was the cause of death? Read on for what we know. See his hairstyle there in the photo? There are a lot of guys who had their hair like that. They're trying to get the Coolio look down, which that was a real fly look back in it. As a matter of fact, that's even now. I mean, it's like the look went out, but then it came right back in. That look right there in this photo, I see that look a lot right now. You see a lot of these young guys thinking they actually did something here, but yeah, this was back in the 90s here. But for the full story, I mean, you can go ahead and finish. I'll leave the link in the description here, so you can finish reading it. But prayers to his family, friends, associates there. He's definitely a legend, in my opinion. Like I said, he's one of the guys that there's a period in the mid 90s where a lot of people wanted to be like Coolio. So even a lot of the rappers, wanted to be like Coolio. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have for you today. Um, I just think that just to recap, I think what's going on with Virgin Atlantic is they're pushing things on us with the men being able to wear skirts, and of course the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons, they're always up to something, doing something, who knows, allegedly. And of course Coolio, prayers to his family and friends. So please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Also catch the podcast on all the major podcast platforms. And once again, this is brought to you by TiradeTV.com. Support the channel at Tirade TV. T-shirts, have some hoodies on the way. Definitely check it out. I don't know what neck of the woods you all are looking at, watching this from or listening from, but if it's cool or cold right now, hey, I'm gonna have some hoodies on there for you. You can represent. Um, but if you're in the hot area of a hot part of the country, I have those T-shirts too. So always remember, we must be a praying people and a praying nation. See you.